without a further ado, so each and every one out here today would like to build for our organization in one or the other way and see our business continues to grow. Value creation is clearly the key, and perhaps cost optimization could be a driver for that. So for this conversation, I would like to invite, first of all, Mr. Winsley on the stage, along with three highly respected media and entertainment veterans. I would like to invite Mr. Anil N.M. Vanwari, founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief, IndianTelevision.com Group. Please welcome Mr. Vanwari, along with Mr. Winsley. And with them, I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Pherwani, partner M&E at EY, and Mr. Karan Taurani, Senior Vice President of Elara Capital. Please welcome all of you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Namitha, and thank you, everyone. This is the last session of the day, and I hope we've been able to share with you the things that we've been doing. And I want to say this again to you. I think it's very important. Please feel free to leverage, optimize all our learnings, right? We have no selfishness in sharing anything with you all. If it's training, as Alka pointed out, if you all would like to train your teams, you all would like the curriculum, the agenda of training from us, just feel free. We'll be very happy to share it with you. Any of the other things we have as well. I'm delighted to have Anil, Ashish, and Karan. They're all three very dear friends. Anil for over 3 decades, who everyone knows is the guru in the media business. Wonderful to have him. Ashish has been with E&Y and has incredibly been an observer of our industry and a great supporter. Ashish, thank you. And we have Karan. By the way, Karan has been rated one of the best brokers as well, again, by Asia Money, right? Media investment analyst by the famous brokerage firm, right? Asia Money. So thank you so much, all three of you. So I won't waste too much time. I think what has happened is we've all come out of the pandemic, right? And we've not come out unscathed, right? There's been a lot of worry, there's been a lot of challenges, loss of subscriber base in certain places, ARPUs going down. But I think we also know that we are resilient. We've been through the industry cycles in the past. We've been able to come out of it. I mean, the idea is, it'll be nice to hear from you all, and starting with you, Anil, as someone who's been following the industry for over 3 decades, where do you see the value creation for us as digital platform operators? I mean, what is it that we can do differently that we haven't done in the past, or something we've done in the past but perhaps not perfected, which can kind of bring us all together to take it to the next level of value creation? Over to you, Anil.
Well, thank you for having me here in the first place. Well, what you have to do is do what you do best, which is provide video. Continue. I know ARPUs are falling there. The challenge is, we don't know our subscribers well enough. We're not declaring them well enough. There are still billing issues which are happening. Do that well. Secondly, expand into broadband, which many of you are doing. But again, provide that service which is needed, that extra layer of services. So that's what you do to enhance your position. Apart from that, as we've been talking, get into delivering B2B services, which is where your money will come in, your real margins will come in. It could be in the area of providing, for instance, I have a home in a village called Guhagar. It's near Chiploon. My cable operator over there is, I take a 20 Mbps pipe. He's charging me 22,000 a year. He's the only guy who's offering me. That's good money, and I'm barely using it for 3 months of the year when I go there. So it's pure margin for him. So continue offering and push yourself that extra mile to reach your consumer and to please him and to delight him. If I have a problem, he comes and he gets it fixed immediately. He doesn't wait. It's a small village, Guhagar. So apart from that, what Alka just talked about, there's a lot of opportunities in understanding your local area, allowing people to creating an online platform where they can get various services. You have a lot of the players who come in and they've aggregated different verticals. Like you can have somebody who can come and repair your cupboard if it's a carpenter. Maybe you can start aggregating local services on your home portal, whether it's a plumber, whether it's an electrician, whether it's a carpenter, and you get a margin from that service provider. It could be from your grocery store. It doesn't take too much of an effort. You know your customers in your local area. Just work on adding that extra layer of service. And B2B is going to be your real driver. That's my few points I had to say.
No, thanks, Anil. Feru, I'll let you start with initial comments and Karan first, and then pick on what Anil said from there on afterwards.
So I have a slightly weird take on this industry, right? When I joined the industry, everyone would say content is king. If you invest in content, you just can't go wrong. Then I heard of a concept called carriage fee. Then I realized distribution is king. If you have owned the last mile, you are king, right? And I've been wondering, which is king? Is it content or distribution? If you go today and take all the market capitalization of the largest content production houses in the world, the best of the best will be Disney at, say, $150 billion, right? If you go and take the best pipes of the world, Comcast, Verizon, Vodafone, they're the distribution guys. The best of the best will be $300 billion. Okay, if you go and take Google and Microsoft, which neither have content, nor do they have pipe, their valuation is $1 trillion. So who's king? It's not content, it's not distribution either. The guy who owns the end consumer is king, clearly, coming from that, right? And therefore, whatever you can do, which will give you access to that last consumer, not just a pipe in the house, but his data, his spending habits, his consumption habits, and how that customer is evolving, what is his next need, and how can you serve that need, which is basically what Apple and Google have today. I think those guys are really king. So anything that you guys want to do in terms of building value has to be around consumer, is my feeling, because that's what seems to be driving the highest valuations today, obviously, because that drives highest ARPU.
Yeah, and the lesson I think is possible from Amazon, the way it's using what it has around the consumer in terms of delivering video services, in terms of delivering the cloud services, which are its most profitable, and all of that. So, well said.
So, Karan, I think what Ashish and Anil are saying, as multi-system operators, as digital platform operators, we own the consumer, right? We have the link with the consumer. But what we've not done is we've not optimized our services to him. And not just not optimized services, we've also not given him, well, I'm being kind of speaking generally, we've not given him the level of customer service that probably we should be giving him, right? The customer delight, which is what Anil pointed out. And Feru also made a point that we need to be able to look at content or distribution. That's no longer the key. What are the product portfolio we can build around the solutions that we as DPOs offer? Do you see that being a significant value driver, value creation from an equity perspective? Just looking at it from a numbers game for a moment.
Right. So, generally the feedback with investors, for these kind of businesses, MSOs, cable operators, DTH companies, has been a big no-no. Because we all know what is happening in the country today. There is severe pressure in terms of, cord cutting, incremental additions, subscribers are not coming right now. ARPU, there is no potential lever in terms of growth because of regulations. So where does the industry grow? Okay. Now, I think the industry has got a very big advantage to itself is the customer, right? And, they both pointed out clearly that, content distribution both is king. But one can't forget the aspect of customer experience, which also plays a very important role. So I think you need to have a blend of these three things, if you were to really tap your customer in a very big way. I think, DTH today is kind of gaining market share. We all know where the numbers are standing. MSO is losing, DTH is gaining. Why is that? It's just because of customer experience, right? So if the MSO operators are able to offer a better customer experience, if they're able to offer a better packaging, better broadband connection, if they're able to offer these OTT apps at a very discounted price, why not? Today, if you look at the distributors for OTT content, firstly, they don't distribute themselves, right? 80% of their customers today are through partnerships, right? And these partners are what? OEMs and telecoms. We've never seen MSO companies or maybe DTH companies being the larger numbers in terms of their partners. Why? They do have the access in terms of 125 million pay TV households. Why can't they become so big? Why can't they really scale up? So I think these are questions we need to ask ourselves in terms of customer experience. And I think one of the big negatives here is the market being so fragmented. We've got so many LCOs, so many MSOs. I think that's the reason the entire theme of the panel is collaboration. So I think, the operators can really come together, really offer good experience, and by coming together, play to each other's strengths. And that's how they can really compete hard with the telcos and OEMs and really help platforms distribute content to the customer.
Yeah, I'm also going to, Karan, in India, you said there's cord cutting happening, there are cord nevers. But remember, there's a lot of churn even in OTT.
Yes.
The OTT numbers also going up, down. It's not consistent. You speak to any OTT platform. So that's another challenge which, because the Indian consumer is different. Third, apart from that, free-to-air is growing drastically, very well in India. Fast channels are coming in on connected TVs. We have got about 20 million connected TVs in India. So, and out of which 6 million would be monthly actives or whatever, or daily actives. So, therefore, what I'm getting at is that there is opportunity for a lean back television. OTT is lean forward consumption. So I don't think we should confuse web series and all that. It's all television, whether it's OTT or whether it's linear television, or whether it's distributed via DTH, whether it's distributed via DD free dish. It's all television. Let's stop differentiating between web series and TV series. They're TV series, period, because it's a video experience.
So I think churn is obviously there everywhere. It's on OTT and they're on TV as well. In fact, OTT platforms, some of the platforms are seeing a higher churn rate as compared to what one is seeing on TV. But I think, as I'm telling you, customer experience is something which is going to really be the edge here, right? So I think it's very important to provide the best customer experience. I mean, MSOs or cable operators today are battling with companies like in the likes of Amazon, Vodafone, Jio, all these kind of companies, right? I mean, some of them could be, big local companies, but most of them also global giants. Even Facebook that way is like a big distribution partner, right? So your customer experience should be that superior when you are able to compete with these kind of global companies, and the customer is not wanting to migrate because he knows that you're going to give him the best experience. So I think it's all about improving there.
Yeah, when I'm in different countries, when I'm traveling, I can listen to radio stations on my TV set also. I'm sure cable in India has progressed. Some of the cable networks have progressed. But can you imagine a package, if I'm a consumer, I've cut the cord on cable a long time ago. And Nadir, my dear friend, says he's not interested in cable in 7-star. He keeps pushing broadband towards me. I'm a Airtel and a Jio customer. But I did try his broadband in the early days. But I've stayed put with Airtel and Jio. Video is not interested to that extent at all. 7-star.
Listen, I think the bottom line is, I think I'm going back to what you said, is the CX, the customer experience. That one thing is coming through very clearly, that if there's no commensurate customer experience, then there's no commensurate growth or revenue. But coming back to the point, no, I'm not talking about, absolutely, that's what I'm saying, I'm talking about from a perspective overall, right? Coming back to the point that Anil made, and in fact, I think in an earlier session, Sameer Kanse mentioned here, we have probably missed one trick in the book. As DPOs, we've missed a trick in the book, is that we've only looked at the subscription business. We've only looked at our local cable operator or digital services partners, as we call them. We've only looked at getting our subscription revenue. We've not really gone the extra mile. We've done bulk bandwidth deals. There is some company that wants bandwidth, etc. We've kind of done. But we've not really gone out on a limb and said, listen, I'm going to take over enterprise class businesses and provide enterprise class services. Do you think the time is ripe now, Feru, considering the investments we've made in the ground? We've got fiber. That fiber is reliable. Where we can't use our own fiber, we can share it. Do you see sharing coming and playing a pivotal role, not just in improving revenues as a result of being able to do pan-India deals, but also reducing costs in a way?
So I'm going to break this answer up into two parts, the enterprise part and also come back to the consumer part. Okay, so today if you look at the Indian advertising industry, it's about 1 lakh crores this year is our estimate. Out of that, 50,000 crores is digital, about 28,000 crores is TV advertising, 18,000, 19,000 print, and then radio out of home, 8,000 crores, right? 50,000 crores digital. How many advertisers are there on TV? Anybody? How many advertisers on TV? Anybody?
Take a shot, 2,000? 1,500? Take a shot, guys.
TV has 4,000 advertisers. That's it. Okay? How many advertisers on digital? 8.5 lakhs. What's the difference? It's the SMEs. 8 lakh SMEs advertising on digital. These are guys who are never approached by anybody. But they started advertising on digital. Why is that? Okay. And is that the right route for you guys to say there are now 8 lakh businesses? Of course they're going to need broadband, right? And is the SME the next big play? Is something you guys need to figure out. They're there. They're all there. They're all advertising. They're all digital friendly. They need broadband. There is no doubt in
Not
anybody's
just
mind.
broadband, they also need to additionally firm up their promotional strategy to cable.
Absolutely.
Because cable was the most watched medium, the cable channel in the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah.
So-
So that's my take. I think if, it's going to be very tough for you to go and sell to IndusInd Bank or whatever the other bank was out here and say, I will power up, 1 million connections for you. But it's going to be very easy to go to an SME and say, I'm going to give you good industrial quality broadband for your business to run better. I think there's a story there.
Firu,
I'm
there's
just
a-
going to step in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
There's an opportunity for you. You set up an advertising
Yeah,
agency,
yeah.
get there are 22 million, I think, subscriptions
Yeah,
out here amongst
yeah.
all the cable operators. Set up a centralized advertising agency, partner with them, start cable channels like we used to have earlier. I know they haven't succeeded, but because we've not really been great on content, this is
Yeah.
something I've been talking about for years. Create local content around your localities and feed advertising to it. You could
Right.
end up getting some of the SME money which he's talking
Yeah.
about.
No,
Sorry, you can continue.
No, I agree with you. But just going back to the 8.5 lakh SMEs, I think one thing that came out in that discussion is you're absolutely right. I mean, and it applies to every single one of us MSOs in this room and outside, all our DPOs. If I had to go and pitch for an pan-India deal, I would never get it. Not because of any other reason, because I don't have a pan-India presence in terms of connectivity. And chances are my mindset is such that I would say no before I actually analyzed it. But if we were to look at aggregation, if we said, okay, fine, there's a deal in Punjab, for instance, and we say, okay, Prem, you drive it for us. We're all there to kind of support you and ensure that you're the 1 point. Or there's a deal in the south or in Bangalore, and we say, Manju, you drive it, and we're all there to support you. Isn't that a first step towards being able to establish a significant paradigm shift?
100%. If you can't come together and show that unified face, if you can't come together and show the reach, if you guys are 22 million homes and you can come together, as Anil says, to put up a third front after Airtel and Jio, right? It would be a definite business case. You would be in all the presentations, talking to all the CIOs. I think I can pretty much assure you.
Just to add on to this, one could actually argue to the fact that when these platforms came in, they wanted customers, they wanted scale. Why did they go to the telcos? They could have come to the MSOs, they could have come to the DTH players for partnerships. They went there because obviously they saw the customer experience over there, right? That's one. Secondly, all the traffic was mobile-led. All your video consumption was mobile-led, so it was more relevant for them to go over there. But I think with this smart TV penetration coming up, the importance of MSOs and DTH is going to increase in the system because people are going to come here and say, okay, fine, I want bundles, I want platforms, I also want normal terrestrial TV on my smart TV. Who's going to give it for me? So it's going to be you guys, right? So I think that's where you have to really tap this entire opportunity around the smart TV market because now they will not go to telcos for doing the partnership. They'll come to the MSOs.
So, Karan, just you being an analyst, there's obviously some parameters you set for crystal ball gazing, right? Saying these are the 5 things that I want to see happening in the industry, behind which I'm happy to put my money into the digital platforms business. Can you share what are the 3 or 4 things that you would look at? You've elucidated on some, but if you could elaborate, perhaps it'll be good to hear.
So I think just 4-5 things, which generally, large fund managers look at before putting into money into any media company or any company for that matter. The biggest thing is, the growth and the scale. Okay, so what is the kind of growth rates in terms of revenue growth I'm going to have? What is my handle in terms of the profitability of my company, right? What are the kind of cost levers I'm going to see over the future? Can my margins improve? Can my margins sustain, right? So double-digit growth, 12 to 15% kind of growth rate is something which is considered very reasonable and healthy for them. Second thing, of course, what they consider as a matter of fact is the competitive intensity, right? Now, if you look at the MSO market, as I said, it's highly fragmented, and if the market is competing with each other, nobody's going to win, right? But if the market is coming together, if the market is doing a lot more of partnership, more of alliances, I think it's going to work favorably for everybody. So I think that is something which they look at in terms of competitive intensity being low, or maybe the market, being with each other. Like, for example, if you look at the telco market, we all talk about Jio and Airtel. Nobody even talks about Vodafone nowadays. It's just kind of repeating right now. So I think these 2 factors are very important. And third is, of course, what is the kind of handle you have on the customer experience, What are the kind of number of subscribers that you have? How can people just discontinue your services and move to blanket OTT? All those kind of things which are there. So I think these 3-4 factors if needs to work upon, I think, and then things can really change from a perspective of investors wanting to put in money into this sector or in a particular company.
Sorry, Anil, you wanted to.
So what I'm looking at a scenario, which is something I've been propagating, content, centralized content with local content. If you look at all the large companies overseas, the cable networks, they have a content play. They do not let go of a content play. ESPN was a cable network. It wasn't a cable operator, but it was a cable network. We've not really built cable networks as such over here. So that's content-driven ones. Secondly, on the services part, you're weak in one area, Prem is strong in one area. You could get an inquiry for Punjab, you could pass it on to him. He gets an inquiry for Mumbai or for Hyderabad. Are you still strong? Are you still weak? Yeah. Hyderabad, you get an inquiry. He gives you a query. He gets a margin for getting you a lead generation. You keep a margin for getting him a lead for a client who's in Bombay. So this collaboration is extremely crucial as far as, even if you don't want to do equity partnerships, do business relationships, which get you some margin, which will add to your top line, because there's hardly any work you have to do for passing on a lead to him. All you've got to do is billing, etc. And you've got to, give the customer confidence that if he's in Bombay, he's got a plant in Punjab, Prem will provide him good service. So that's something which will work well.
Listen, I agree with you because Mahesh, who from Yes Bank, who was here, right? He made the point that they would like to look at a single aggregator, because rather than dealing with multiple MSOs or dealing with multiple LCOs, they want one aggregation. Whether that aggregation is driven out of Punjab or driven out of Hyderabad or anywhere, that's fine. So therefore, one is the top line aspects. The other thing I think that we struggle with in our industry is costs, right? Our cost and content cost is one area. Our next big cost is networking cost. One of the things that I've had the, I'd say, privilege of discussing with some of our leading MSOs is infrastructure sharing. We've seen Indus Towers, and Indus Towers was a great example where a company was created to manage all the towers.
Telco,
right?
on the telco side. Elaborate a bit on it. Maybe not everyone knows it.
No. So that's what Karan, maybe, can you just share about Indus Towers? It'll be good to hear how infrastructure sharing became a great driver.
Yeah, so I mean, that's how, most of these tower companies, infra sharing was there because, they always want to save costs. There are huge investments, in terms of capex for this thing. So it's obviously there for the betterment of the industry. But more than this, on the partnership part, I would just like to, highlight one key thing here. Look at a company like Amazon. Everybody knows about Amazon. Everybody's there on the Amazon shopping app. Everybody has got that. Some people have got the Prime Video subscription as well, right? Even a company like Amazon today realizes the importance of collaboration. They have got Amazon Mini TV, they have got some 15-20 apps under Amazon, Hoichoi. So my point is that, for them, sky is the limit, right? You really have to, partner, you have to really, do alliances with a lot of people in the ecosystem to work for each other's strengths, and that's how things are going to be, no matter how big a brand you are. So similar kind of concept need to be followed by the MSO companies as well, which are so many, and this like really fragmented right now. So working to each other's strengths is a key over here.
Yeah, you needed to have equity partnerships. See, what's happened in India is why nobody has invested in a great way in the Indian cable environment. We've had Warner, we've had lots of companies looking at the market, but they haven't done it so far. Because it's a fragmented, like he said, it's fragmented. Now, if you put up an united front and you put up that mass of numbers of subscribers, it could lead to a situation where, in the beginning, it's relationships. Jio has failed in this also, from my understanding, though they're still trying to get it together. GTPL, Den, Hathway, they're still working on it. But this could be a great use case for the world, that India originated not equity relationships, but business relationships which created mass.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think our objective, in fact, one of the 3 points is collaborate. Our idea is that I think our industry, we're all in the same boat. Right? We're all in the same boat. I keep on joking that we're all drowning in the same water. It's only the depth that differs. Some of us are up to the nose. Some of us are, up to the shoulder.
Watch out for 5G in the next 4 years.
No, and
forget it. You guys may not be around if you don't partner now.
No, I'm not
4 years down the line.
I'm not disagreeing with you. And I think, therefore, we're all kind of acutely aware for the need to collaborate, right?
I think same with the smart TV point as well, which I mentioned. So because smart TV is going to really pick up after 5G, after FTTX picking up, smart TV is the next big thing. So the collaboration has to come in.
Yeah, and also there won't be a set-top box 5 years down the line. Yes. Your TV will be the set-top box itself.
True.
There'll be a chip in there. So you guys had better understand how to use your customer and how to offer him that service, that extra USP, that extra jizz, so that he stays with you. If you look at what Samsung is trying to do, if you look at what LG is trying to do, if you look at a lot of the other companies, they're saying, we want the chip in the TV, which is the addressable chip. So there won't be a need for smart, 5 years, 10 years. Anuj Gandhi is trying with his own device, but gradually over time, that will also disappear into the TV, by the way.
So, Anil, you missed an interesting session prior to lunch. Sanjeev was running it. What we're all looking at in the industry is true convergence, in the sense that for us, we're all clear that digital television is no longer a driver for us. Neither is broadband a driver. Neither is OTT a driver. All three are part of a bigger envelope called converged services, which could include building Wi-Fi, CCTV solutions, voice over IP. And by offering them to the consumers as a bundled offering, our ARPUs of individual verticals may go down, but our share of wallet of the customer goes up, and the connect with the customers retain. Do you see, do you see that exciting? Do you see it exciting in terms of an opportunity of push?
So, Vince, again, my take on this is that India is a very striated, segmented market. Right? So I have my 25 million connected TVs. I also have 45 million free dish in the same country. Right? And I also have 110, 115 million, whatever, pay TV homes. Right? However you look at it, I don't think any business in media going forward will have a single strategy.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I will have to have different products for all these 3 buckets. In fact, my 3 buckets will become 5 buckets, will become 7 buckets, will become 10 buckets. I'll have an SME bucket. I'll have a large enterprise bucket. I'll have a village level
Rural bucket.
Bucket, right? You know, I'll break free dish down into 2 buckets itself.
Right.
You know, and say, what am I doing to get more people to buy a TV, for example? How can I incentivize, right? For the low ARPU buckets, I think there's nothing to be done. The innovation is already being done by bringing the price down so much. You can thank TRAI for all that they've done there, right? But for the high ARPU buckets, I think there's a lot more need to collaborate together. There's a lot more need to innovate. So the question I will pose to all of you is, tomorrow, if hypothetically someone launches a 5G service at 250 rupees a month, okay, what will make your customer still stick with you? I'm sure nobody has an answer.
I have an answer.
What?
Uska tower band karega, right?
Vapas, back to the Gundagarzi.
Back to the
Winsley.
Gundaland.
Winsley, behave yourself. You're professional. You're evolved. You're working with a public limited company. No tower ban karna.
Right. Apart from that, I'm saying, what is it right now that we do that will actually get our customer to say, I don't want that 250 rupee 5G product. I still want to work with the LCO.
No. I think Anil pointed that out. I think the customer experience.
It's not
and the
only customer
interaction.
experience.
Because pricing, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. Feru, I'll tell you why.
It's not going to be 250. It's going to be free, by the way.
No,
Like for all you know.
Then you're starting at 0, then there's no real competition.
It might be 0. Mr. Mukesh Ambani did that earlier.
Then there's no real competition to 0.
Yeah,
pricing,
it might
right?
be 0. So whatever you do, it might be 0. He might surprise you. Or he may charge you $50 for a 5G connection. We don't know.
The good thing is proliferation is, see, a lot of people, and I want to share also with the audience, our understanding of 5G is highly limited, right? Let me be blunt about it. 5G cannot penetrate glass walls, right? So you sitting in the home trying to watch on a 5G content, not happening. 5G has a certain density propensity which gets affected, and therefore your cost of investment of towers, the density to be able to provide a continued signal is incredibly high. The one, that doesn't mean we're ever going to be complacent. I think as DPOs, we understand the challenge from 5G. We know it's a challenge to our business, but we also know that we are continuously trying to evolve, being a very clear term, to be able to do something new. I think that, Feru, if we can hear from you, probably what are the 3 things you think we need to do? So let me turn it around positively. What are the three things you think we need to do as DPOs to take the game up all over again?
Okay, so I have two things. Okay. The first is that you do have a Brahmastra right now, and it was always a Brahmastra, but a very underutilized Brahmastra, which is you have direct access
Yes.
to the home. You have a relationship where your person can actually go right into the home. Nobody else has that. Not even Amazon, they totally leave the parcel down at the gate. Right? I think we need to use that better. Right? You need to use that, build a relationship, really, I'm not saying build an emotional connect, but at least build that empathy there that we are here for you. Right? I think that goes a long way more than any pricing to make it happen. I use the example of my own mother-in-law. She, when NTO happened, I said, now you can choose you watch only Zee Kannada, just take one channel. You don't need to pay for anything else. And then she calls me 2 days later and said, no, I took his largest pack for the full year. Why? Because he's such a sweet boy. Okay? Now, that happens, right? So I think one is use that last mile connect that you have. You have a personal connect. It's amazing. It's the biggest asset today. It's far more valuable than Netflix's $9 a month, if you ask me. Just the ability to go there. And what else can you do with that connect? I think that's the first.
That is the key.
That's the first thing. What else can you do with that connect? Okay. The second thing I would probably say is at some level, let me give you an example. Samsung has, not in India for some reason, but abroad, something called Club Penguin or something, Samsung Club or something like that it's called. I can't remember what it's called. What they say is that I want my existing Samsung phone user to always upgrade to another Samsung phone and not move anywhere else, right? So they built a set of unique services which only they provide, exclusive content, whereby you will not be able to access it on any other brand, right? And their retention rate went up 3x because of that. And I'm just wondering, is there something we can do? Maybe local news, I don't know, right? Which is a very powerful thing which nobody else can provide better than you guys, right? Maybe you can have something like local interactivity. So if KBC is going on, you can run your own contest along the KBC that's going on TV and have prizes over there which no one else will be able to give that.
I would
Build
also
a
add to that,
community, right?
sports competitions in schools.
Yeah.
You can actually run that local sports.
Or just lottery.
Yeah.
It's simple software, right?
Games
run
as well in the past.
Yeah, there's enough and more to do at your locality level, which no national player will ever be able to do. Right?
You don't need high Funda equipment. You can shoot with mobile phones.
Yeah.
You don't need high Funda equipment.
Absolutely. So I think those are my 2 points. One, use the relationship that you have. And secondly, put those unique products which the national guys cannot do to create a massive differentiation in what you're capable of. Yes, it's not easy. Nor is ganging up 22 million homes and so many operators. But at some point, someone's got to make that step because at the end, what is our industry? Yeah? What are we serving? We have only 2 uses, right? This whole industry has only 2 use cases. One is escapism and one is knowledge. There is nothing else that we provide.
And information.
That's knowledge.
Okay, call it.
Yeah. It's you're either providing knowledge or you're providing escapism. So how can you provide more knowledge? Put local news out there, which no one else can do. How can you provide more escapism? Create games, create parties, create live videos, I don't know, whatever. 20 different things that are possible today. Online kitty parties. I don't know, right? But I think if you can create that escapism and knowledge at a local level.
Would you be willing to pay $10? How old is your son now?
I have a 15-year-old son. He has no clue what a TV is. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, supposing your son is taking part in the school competition, the sports day, and he's a good runner.
Let me save you the trouble. We have our building housey, right? It costs me $1,000 a year to play building housey every month, once in a month, right? It happens. You always spend because you want to do it.
So you want to pay, you'll pay to watch your son run.
Everybody pays for escapism. Everybody pays for knowledge.
This is pleasure and seeing your son win.
Escapism.
No, it's not escapism, it's pleasure.
It is. No, he's also looking at, out of the humdrum, right? Because it's not knowledge either.
Yeah, I'm not housey, I'm talking about the sports day.
Yeah, sure.
That is for me, watching my son win. I'll pay $50 just to watch that telecast.
Sure.
The flip side is your son loses.
That's okay. Weddings, all of those can be put on cable.
So, you know what? Because I don't want to keep on droning on, I'm going to open this up for the audience, but I just wanted to put to you all, I was summarizing in my mind what Feru, Anil and Karan have said. I think we've got 3 buckets really. Bucket number 1 is we have an existing connect with our customer, right? We own the customer. We've spent so much time and effort in building the wire to the customer and building the relationship with the customer. We need to make sure that that relationship is cemented through either A, on one side, improving quality of service, good CX, and second, in providing solutions that are different, local content, local games, etc. And I know some of you have done it as well. That's on one bucket. The second bucket that I'm hearing is very clearly, we should look at enterprise businesses as being a strong driver. We've invested in fiber, we've invested in head ends. I mean, Namita, the anchor, was saying we've invested in head ends, fiber, people, relationships, connectivity. There's so much of investments we've made. It's time to leverage that. That is the second bucket for enterprise. And the third bucket, I think, most importantly, is how do we ensure that this business that we've built continues to be, how do I put it, continues to work on a collaborative environment. I think that is one of the key reasons why we're meeting here today, is how do we collaborate, whether it be for enterprise businesses or whether it be for pan-India businesses, how do we...
So what I would also add here,
Yeah.
Winsley,
Yeah.
Technology is moving rapidly.
Yeah.
Moore's law has shrunk. It's no longer 18 months.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at is the infrastructure sharing which you talked about.
Yeah.
I think you've got a good model here. If you can provide fair business partnerships with people and
Right.
people see fairness in what you're offering them,
Right.
you've got a good thing going because they don't have to invest in
Correct.
infrastructure.
Correct.
Their capital investments are very limited.
Yes, yes.
So grow on this, and you need to keep updating and upgrading your own infrastructure.
Correct.
Based on how technology is changing.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. I
and
mean, sorry, you were going to
I
say.
think price wars also should not happen. I mean, price wars are also kind of right for the industry. So generally, any industry, if you see price wars happening, a lot of costs are there, a lot of customer experiences moves down because of the cost being so high. So not having price wars, being collaborative nature is also something which is very good for the industry as
And I
well.
think leveraging that on top of infrastructure sharing, as Anil just pointed out, make sure that all of us are actually collaborative from day one, right?
But I would redefine infra.
Sure.
Infra is not just hardware anymore.
Correct.
Infra is
yeah.
now the softer elements
Yeah.
to win the customer trust.
Exactly.
So whether it's the capability to create local news and then share that, I think that's a responsibility that large DPOs like you have to take.
Got you.
Right?
I understand.
It's like creating an iOS or an app store and
And then letting
creating
everyone
10
use
apps for everybody to use, which
Understood.
then they can play games, run games on or whatever
Sure.
at their
Sure.
individual levels.
Got
But I
it.
think that's really going to be the next level
Right.
of infra. And by doing that, what you do is, without realizing it, you suddenly get a shitload of customer data.
Right.
And where's the
That
value
is the key.
highest?
Value is always in customer,
customer data.
Right.
So-
And also, they need to upgrade the way the engineers come across. I don't know whether you've got uniforms in Next Digital.
We do.
You do
And
have
a lot of
uniforms.
our partners here have.
Okay.
Often it's more a challenge for other reasons, which I'll discuss with you offline, where sometimes it may not be viable for them to actually wear uniforms, right? But by and large, yeah, I'm going to open this up because I think, like I
And
said...
one more second.
Yeah,
The
please.
image of cable companies I have, if you watch the cable guy, they come in a lovely van, they come with great equipment. I've never seen that image of Indian cable operators.
Arey, sir, we'll show you, sir.
Please show me.
Van hai, sab kuch hai.
No, but it's a
branding
fancy
hai, sir.
van. They have fabulous gear inside the van, inside the cable van. Go watch the cable guy. That was 20 years ago.
My cable wala has a more expensive phone than I do. So
No, he may have the phone, but the gear to make me confident about the service is not true. The guy who comes into my home is the guy who scratches his head, who scratches his backside, who sticks his nose. So
Hey,
all
come
those
on.
little
Ani,
things have
Ani,
to
Ani,
change.
That is few and far between.
for that's
I'm
that's
sure,
a segment.
And I'm sure that guy has been selected specially to come to your house because you're media vet. Nowhere
mean.
else you'll
That
see
is
it.
mean. That is mean.
Nowhere else you'll see it in the industry. None of us have people who do that. None of us, boss. Correct or no? None
Three
of us have
cheers.
that.
Three cheers if it is true. But the guys I've seen...
And take his name and photograph and let us know. We'll find
Definite.
out.
Now, I've cut cable. I'm talking about 4 years ago. It was a scenario.
Now how are you complaining?
No,
yeah,
no, I'm
then
just saying
about
that's
it,
the memory I have of a service technician who comes to my house.
yeah. We'll change that for you.
Very
We'll
painful
change-
memory. Clearly.
Yeah.
I wonder what he was scratching.
Exactly.
No wonder I cut the cable cord.
Anyway, let me open this up. Is there anyone who'd like to... sorry, can someone get a microphone here for Prem, please?
Well, I think before I put my point across, thank you, Vince, for taking the first step on this collaborative path. I think this is let's hear it for him. I think he truly deserves that.
Thank you.
And of course, the entire event has been stitched so meticulously. I mean, you've just picked all the points which are so very relevant for all of us. And the last session has been the real grand summing up of all the things that, all the challenges that we face and all the steps that we need to take. And they are very simple things. But of course, we all know simple things are difficult to implement. But let's give it ourselves another chance. Of course, the steps that Anil and Ashish rightly put across is that, we understand clearly that the local content is so powerful and so unique to us that nobody else can replicate. No pan-India or national large telco can ever do that. But, we never give enough focus to that. I talk about my own setup. We have 100 local channels. And they are so very popular. But we have never been able to intelligently monetize. I would commit that even today we can get, we were on the sidelines, I was discussing with Ashish, the rates that we get on advertisement, are far lesser. So that's one area where, of course, we all can work. Yeah. It's a micromanagement work, but then we need to do it. There is no escapism here. Number two,
I think the first thing I would say to that is, if all of you have ad inventory, can you come together to monetize that?
Yeah. I was about to talk about that.
Right?
Collaboration.
It is just such and now with the kind of technology that's there, you've seen how out of home has gone programmatic, right?
Yeah.
So all available inventory can be scheduled
And also,
anywhere.
Feru, don't forget what Prem's talking about. Those 100 local channels that Prem has, there's Punjabi diaspora, not just anywhere across India, but also
Worldwide.
globally.
Yeah.
It's
Worldwide.
globally.
Yeah.
Now the value, is he deriving the actual dollar value that he should be? That's what Prem's point is.
His rate is probably less than half of the HSM rate in the same market. Right?
It's half, I think it'll be less than half of the news, the lowest news channel.
Yeah. 1/10 to be fair.
Yeah, of a news channel, which is probably 10 rupees or 20 rupees or 30 rupees per 10 seconds.
And then there are a lot of slots which, we miss out on. So there's so much inventory which, it doesn't have a shelf life, so it just goes off. So I think that collaboration part one,
check out
Vince
what Z has done called Z Mitra. Have you seen their product?
No.
So anybody can go onto zmitra.com and schedule inventory on the Z network. Okay, it was built specifically for SMEs, by the way. It's something that I think you guys should look at.
Absolutely. No, the SME opportunity is very, very rightly pointed out. I think it's only going to increase big time now. So the second thing is, we were talking about the infrastructure that we have. I think, again, Vince, you can take lead. I'm with you. Let's, create a complete inventory. I will give you a very interesting aspect of, in enterprise business, we have lion's share in Punjab, as we have in the retail business too. But then in enterprise business, when I check with my friends in Airtel and Jio and all, their revenues are far higher than ours. And then, what happens is we get all the small ones, the coins we get, and the big notes they collect. And what are the big notes? The big note is like ICICI, all pan-India, HDFC pan-India connectivity, or maybe, some Reliance Retail pan-India connectivity. Of course, that's their own business. So, if we have, and our people lose out because in any pan-India bid, we have only limited presence. So that is where we are out of the game. I think once we form a sort of a coalition, form a sort of a, unified entity, I think we can bid for all these things. We can also say that, okay, we are there pan-India, and, that will give us the required credibility, so to say. So that's one area. And of course, there are a lot of other, collaboration in terms of thinking is another very interesting thing. So, we keep dwelling or struggling with our challenges in our silos. I think this platform, we know that there are people with similar sort of challenges, and collectively, I think we have more USPs than any other entity, in comparison to us. So I think we just need to synergize and take things forward.
No, fantastic. Thank you, Prem. Very, very, very well said, Prem. Truly appreciate it. I think it's nice to hear that, and like you said, we're all in the same swimming pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only some of us have, the water's gone up here. Some it's below the chin, but we're still in the swimming pool.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, someone else wanted a microphone. Thank you, Prem. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Vince, I just wanted to add to the point what Prem said is like collaboration. So there are like because so you people are like earlier the LCOs and the MSOs were segregated in different regions. Now the trend is that most of these what I should say the OTTs they are bringing their own cables into the country and they're looking for the properties which are like near the seashores. If you guys have your properties which are near to the seashores, you can monetize them by offering them with the CLSs. So that's can be one of the areas where you can collaborate further.
Good relevant point. Mukund, there's a bungalow on Bandra, on Juhu Beach, na? Mukund, the property hai abhi.
That's the Hinduja bungalow, yeah?
No, but he also has a
Silver
property.
Beach.
Silver, yes. No, but point
Mukund,
taken.
that's a bungalow.
Point taken. Yeah. I'm just being funny, poor guys.
Oh, I thought that was, okay, Silver Beach, well, I thought the property.
Sorry, is there anyone else who'd like to? This is the last session and we will wind up because I know that people have flights to catch and as I promised that we should wrap up at